I'm sure you've heard the news, the chilling stories that make headlines and leave us all wondering. These tales of horror and mystery captivate our imaginations and haunt our dreams. They are the unsolved murders that have baffled detectives and intrigued the public for decades. Each case is a puzzle with pieces that never quite fit together, leaving us with more questions than answers. Today we delve into 5 of the most eerie and perplexing unsolved murders that continue to haunt us. These are the cases that have left even the most seasoned detectives scratching their heads, the ones that have spawned countless theories, books and movies, yet remain unsolved. 5 unsolved murders that have baffled detectives for decades. Each one is a story of tragedy and mystery, with victims whose voices cry out for justice from beyond the grave. Let's uncover the chilling details together. As we journey through these dark tales, remember that behind each story is a real person, a life cut short, and a family left in anguish. These are not just stories, they are real-life nightmares that have left an indelible mark on history. Let's start with the Hinterkaifeck murders of 1922. This case is one of the most bizarre and unsettling in criminal history. It took place on a remote farmstead in Bavaria, Germany, where 6 members of the Gruber family were brutally murdered. The family had noticed strange occurrences in the days leading up to the murders, footsteps in the snow leading to their house but none leading away, and unexplained noises in the attic. 6 members of the Gruber family slaughtered on their remote German farm. The bodies were discovered days later, stacked in the barn and covered with hay. The killer had used a mattock, a farming tool, to commit the gruesome act. What makes this case even more chilling is the fact that the killer may have stayed on the farm for several days after the murders, tending to the livestock and eating the family's food. The killer, never caught. Despite extensive investigations and numerous suspects, the identity of the murderer remains a mystery to this day. The Hinterkaifeck murders continue to baffle historians and criminologists, leaving us to wonder who could commit such a heinous act and why. He might have even stayed on the farm, living among the dead. The thought of the killer living in the same house as his victims, going about daily chores as if nothing had happened, is a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk in the human soul. Why? We'll never know. The motives behind the Hinterkaifeck murders remain as elusive as the killer himself. Was it a crime of passion, a robbery gone wrong, or something more sinister? The answers are lost to time, buried with the victims in the cold Bavarian soil. Next, the Black Dahlia in 1947. This case is perhaps one of the most famous unsolved murders in American history. Elizabeth Short, an aspiring actress, was found brutally murdered in a vacant lot in Los Angeles. Her body had been severed in half and her face was mutilated in a grotesque manner. Elizabeth Short, found in a Los Angeles park, body severed in half. The gruesome nature of the crime shocked the nation and led to a media frenzy. The press dubbed her the Black Dahlia, and her murder became a symbol of the dark side of Hollywood's glamour. Who did it? Many suspects, 0 convictions. Over the years, numerous suspects have been investigated, including doctors, actors, and even members of the police force. Yet, despite the intense scrutiny, no one has ever been charged with her murder. Her death remains one of America's most infamous cold cases. The Black Dahlia case has inspired countless books, movies, and TV shows, each offering their own theories and speculations, but the truth remains elusive, and Elizabeth Short's killer continues to evade justice. Then there's the Villisca Axe murders of 1912. This case took place in the small town of Villisca, Iowa, where 8 people, including 6 children, were found brutally murdered in their beds. The crime shocked the tight-knit community and left a lasting scar on the town's history. 8 people, including 2 children, brutally murdered in their sleep in Iowa. The victims were bludgeoned to death with an axe, and the crime scene was left in a state of utter chaos. The mirrors in the house were covered, and a plate of uneaten food was found on the kitchen table, suggesting that the killer had taken his time. The mirrors were covered, the killer vanished. Despite a thorough investigation and numerous suspects, the identity of the murderer remains unknown. The Villisca Axe murders have become a part of local folklore, with many believing that the house is haunted by the spirits of the victims. Was it the preacher, Reverend George Kelly? No one knows. Reverend George Kelly, a traveling minister, was one of the prime suspects in the case. He was tried twice for the murders but was ultimately acquitted. The true identity of the Villisca Axe murderer remains a mystery, leaving the town to wonder if the killer still walks among them. The Zodiac killer terrorized the San Francisco Bay Area in the late 60s. This case is one of the most infamous in American history, with the killer taunting police and the public with cryptic letters and ciphers. The Zodiac claimed to have killed 37 people, though only 5 have been confirmed. At least 5 confirmed kills, taunting letters sent to newspapers. The Zodiac's letters were filled with bizarre symbols and references to astrology, adding to the mystery and intrigue. Despite numerous suspects and extensive investigations, the Zodiac's identity remains unknown. Despite numerous suspects, the Zodiac's identity remains a mystery. The case has inspired countless books, movies, and documentaries, each offering their own theories and speculations. But the truth remains elusive, and the Zodiac killer continues to haunt the public's imagination. A potential DNA breakthrough in 2020? Still no answers. In recent years, advances in DNA technology have offered new hope in solving the case. In 2020, a potential breakthrough was announced, but it has yet to yield any definitive answers. The Zodiac killer remains one of the most enigmatic figures in criminal history. Lastly, the boy in the box, 1957. This case involves the discovery of a young boy's body in a cardboard box in Philadelphia. The boy, estimated to be between 3 and 7 years old, had been beaten and abandoned in a wooded area. Despite extensive efforts to identify him, the boy's identity and the circumstances of his death remain unknown. A young boy found beaten, abandoned in a cardboard box in Philadelphia. Who was he? The case has haunted the city for decades with numerous theories and speculations, but no concrete answers. The boy's grave is marked with a simple headstone that reads, "America's Unknown Child," a poignant reminder of the tragedy. Despite modern DNA techniques, his identity and the killers remain unknown. A tragic enigma. Advances in DNA technology have provided new avenues for investigation, but the case remains unsolved. The boy in the box is a haunting reminder of the many children who go missing and are never found. What do all these cases have in common? They are all stories of lives cut short, of families left in anguish, and of mysteries that continue to baffle and intrigue. They remind us of the darkness that can lurk in the human soul and the enduring quest for justice. The question, who did it? This question haunts the families of the victims, the detectives who worked the cases, and the public who followed the stories. It is a question that may never be answered, leaving us to wonder and speculate. Some may find answers with new technology, while others may stay forever in the shadows. Advances in forensic science and technology offer new hope in solving these cases. But some mysteries may never be fully resolved. The truth may remain hidden, buried in the shadows of history. These mysteries remind us that some secrets are never meant to be revealed. Sleep tight. As we close this chapter, remember that these stories are more than just tales of horror. They are real-life tragedies that have left an indelible mark on history. They remind us of the fragility of life and the enduring quest for justice. Sleep tight, and may these stories stay with you, a reminder of the mysteries that still haunt us.